because this is something we were not taking any sides. We were talking about modern slavery and how trafficking victims or non-immigrants who are coming on a visa and being held as a hostage, how do they get justice, right? So those are the topics we have covered for quite a long time.
Yes.
So this story, the person said during the pandemic, he was offered more than $100,000. I believe he must be a top level executive or developers or software programmer. He said he was offered by one of the reputed healthcare provider a job in the month of March.
Mm.
Through his employer, he was asked to move from Texas to Kentucky, and he traveled, relocated himself, driving thousands of miles, went to the client location, and to his surprise, when he joined, we all know that pandemic hit us and everything got shut down. He was asked to go home and work from home, and he was not able to relocate because of that, and he had to reshuffle and come back thousands of miles back again and change all his plans. Meanwhile, trying to work remotely, and he was working for 5 weeks down the line. And what he said was, without any reason, without giving any chance to hear his side, his employer fired him.
Mm.
And that was surprising. And he was trying to analyze, get hold of his manager and find out what happened. And his manager told that, like, why did he made a comment in the meeting? And he was so shocked, like, oh, what does that mean? And he said, I just made a comment saying that, like, during a meeting session, they asked for feedback. How did the meeting go? And he jokingly, he did said that to everyone, saying that I just kidding, and said like the meeting looked like White House coronavirus briefing kind of thing. So that forced them to think that, like, he is, I don't know what, he's against Donald Trump or Republicans, or
Mm.
I don't know how that has played out. But immediately, the very evening, he was told that, like, why did you bring that up? And his manager blasted him. And the very next day, he was cut off from the access and he was fired, it seems. And he was so shocked, and he doesn't know, like, how to uh, go ahead and file a complaint or file
Mm.
discrimination charge, or sue the company, because it's $1 billion company. He was mentioning that. And I did said, like, we will fight it out, we will help you out. And that is
Yeah.
why, like, I wanted to ask you guys, like, can we start naming those companies and blacklist those companies and create an awareness and take it to the management and see, like, why did they do that? And the surprising part, within the 4 months period, the company has come back to him and rehired him again for the same
Okay.
position, for the same client. They have offered him 100,000, the same salary as well.
Okay.
That is weird, isn't it? And he said, like, I can share all the documents and proof. And
Mm.
they hired him, and they did a background check again for him after running his payroll for 3 months and firing him without giving notice, and rehiring him after 4 months for the same position, for the same client. And now they are not allowing him to work for the client.
Mm.
Whoa. I am puzzled as you guys.
Yeah.
So what do you say to this? He said, like, if I am on an H-1B visa, imagine what would I do? How do
Mm-hmm.
I get justice? So this is worse than, I don't know how to say. So how are we going to help him out?
Yeah, that that's a weird situation, JK. Like it doesn't. It sounds like you got a lot of, how would you say it, Melissa? Like corporate, like malfeasance, corporate incompetence, corporate like just in the fact that they kind of strung the guy along, like
They
could
are playing
pick
some
up
crazy
everything, move
games.
out here, yeah, and then you make one comment in a meeting, and it's like, oh, we don't want you anymore, and then we come back, oh yeah, we do want you. It feels like there needs to be, and I agree, JK, like we need to name these companies because
Absolutely.
if they can continue to operate in anonymity, they'll be able to continue to treat people like this and treat the workers like this. But like, yeah, Melissa, I feel like, especially in a pandemic, because we've seen like the failure at every level, whether you're talking about the corporate level or the government level,
Hmm.
of taking care of people in the middle of all this, and the fact that this guy lost his job in, he said 5 months, so March, April, May, June, July, and the CARES Act, which was the uh, bill that the government passed to add bonuses to unemployment and all that stuff, that ran out in August. So I don't even know if he was able to apply for unemployment or if he was able to get some type of workers, compensation during that time period. But like, yeah, this it just feels like just negligence from a corporate side, Melissa.
The unemployment, I was actually thinking about that myself, Nate. Like, was he even able to get unemployment now? Because I know with the way unemployment works, you have to be out of work for a certain amount of time. So for them to fire him, then hire him back, then fire him again, that like I don't even know if he would be eligible, but that is horrible that they would do that. And then it makes me wonder, how many employees have they done that
Mm,
to? How
mm-hmm.
many do they continue to plan to do that to? So we definitely would, I would love for us to be able to name these companies and bring more awareness, because with that, more people will come forward. I mean, with just one employee, it is a lot harder with billion-dollar companies to say they did this and that to me. They're going to try to cover that right up. But
Mm,
with able to have so many people come forward, because 9 times out of 10, this is not the first person,
yeah.
having that united front coming forward and say, hey, this is what's happening here. This isn't right. You can't do this to people. I think that'll be good for us to start putting that out here, because that's insane. I like, people have families. People, even if they
Mm-hmm.
don't have families, they have themselves to take care of. That's insane. That's so unfortunate. Is do you still Are you in still communication with him now, JK? Was he able to find other employment in the meantime? Like, is he okay?
Yes, Melissa. I am trying to get as much information from him so that we can channel this to the authorities or to the management and say like,
Mm-hmm.
hey guys, you have wronged somebody in this way. Why did that happen? I, Again, he said like, he doesn't want like any justice, and it's absurd to even talk about those things, because what he said was a complete abuse, and the angle in which he tells the story is quite amazing. Because if somebody has been fired for some reason, right, why did they hire him back again in
Exactly.
next 3 months? That's strange. And the question he asks is, I am not on a visa. So they are trying to exploit. If I am on a visa, then if I lose a job in 2 months, if I don't get another job, I have to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I am not in that. So he said, like, you can name the companies. And he even said very disturbing things. I don't want to bring that up, but he said like two women, like Pam and Sam from Humana, his manager, they are the one who even was trying to hug him when the pandemic was there, and saying that like we are a hugger, and hugged him
Mm.
when he went to the office, and he was very uncomfortable. So all those things he is saying it to me, like I don't know what to say. uh, I don't know, probably he is not comfortable in sharing all those details, but he did mention that he will share the documents for us to verify the authenticity, because I don't want like to put some misinformation, wrong information,
Right.
target the billion-dollar company, right? The employer is ATOS Central, and that is what he shared. And I'm trying to ask him to share the evidence, because without evidence, it will turn out like a false thing, right? You are claiming, president is claiming that, like after losing the election, saying that it's a fraud, something like that. We don't want to do that.
Right.
We
No.
said, like, if we really want to help you out, we need proof. We
Yeah.
need to see those things. And he said, like, I can share you the recordings of the interviews I had the next time, and I will show you those things as well. So it looks like he is prepared, and he wants to fight it out. But he was quite interested in what we are doing, and he said, like, let me put it out in your platform and let the whole world know that, like, what's going on.
Right. And it's very important, like you're saying there, JK, to have proof. And if you can speak up, against these companies, because the truth is, like, it's hard enough to get justice, or it's hard enough to get things, made right, even with the proof. Because like you said,
Absolutely.
Melissa, like, they've got lawyers, they've got money, they've got ways to make things,
Cover it up.
cover it
Make
up,
it
make
go
things
away.
disappear. Yep. And so, like, the only thing that, a worker in this situation has is the truth. And
Hmm.
so it's very important. Like, if you're in a situation like this, if you haven't started already, like, start to keep notes, start to keep
Hmm.
receipts and copies of emails. And if you have, conversations that you've had with individuals in management, make sure you're keeping track of that, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your word against this big companies, and all that you've got really to fight for you is the truth.
Absolutely. That is a good point, Nate. I know he said that he had proof of the interviews and all that, and that is good too. Anything going forward, keep documents of everything,
Hmm.
because they are going to try to fight this like there's no tomorrow. But that doesn't mean that they'll win. So that's very good to make sure that you keep everything. Even if it
Yeah.
doesn't seem important, keep it.